So today I'm going to talk about how you can uplift the energy in your home with the use of the Flying Stars Feng Shui in 2022. I would like to first talk about the practice of Feng Shui and the different dimensions. I believe there are three main dimensions to the practice. One is space Feng Shui, which is really about what's around your property, your home, which is the landform, really. So may it be the mountains or the rivers, or living in an urban environment would be buildings or highways or streets. All these environmental detail gives information and has an impact, a direct energetical impact in your home, and it affects it greatly. The second dimension to the practice of Feng Shui will be time Feng Shui, and that's where we're going to focus on today. And it has to be about the indoors of your home, the internal life, your lifestyle, your everyday life inside your home, and how you can harness that energy to bring up the good luck into your life. And third, the spiritual Feng Shui, which we have to acknowledge that there are positive and not so positive energies in your environment, and there are ways of subdue those energies. But for today's purpose, we'll focus on time Feng Shui, which is all about the Flying Stars technique. Every year, the Chinese practice of Feng Shui starts. It's based on the solar calendar, as you may know, and it starts the 4th of February of every year. So we still have time to experience the stars of 2022. So again, as I mentioned earlier, it's really how your internal environment affects each one of us, and what can we do to enhance what we want to focus on. Flying Stars is a short-term technique with short-term results, since the stars change every year. And that is why, if you need to know what are your goals for this year, for each year, and where to focus, where to spend most of your time in your home. First, I will show you how to use your floor plan. So I don't know if anyone of you brought a floor plan of your home, but basically there are two methods of chartering your home. One is a grid system, which is the one that I like because I think it's more practical. We can see every sector is equal size, whereas with a pie sectoring, the center is very small. So I prefer to use a grid system for the purpose of Flying Stars. And then, of course, you have to know what is your facing palace and your sitting palace. And the facing palace is where most of the yang energy comes from. So usually it's your main door, but not always. So in this floor plan, in this flat, the main door would be here. And usually you're facing the bright light, the nicest view of your home. That's how we take the facing. That's where the facing is. And the sitting palace would be more of a yin energy, calmer, perhaps darker, with a fence in the back or trees. And that's how we decide on the facing and the sitting of a home. So once you know your facing and your sitting with a compass. For traditionalists, they can use the luopan. Otherwise, regular compasses, I use the Bruton one that you can get online, or even with your iPhone, put it on the palm of your hand, and this is how you get the direction and run the Flying Stars. But for today's purpose, the annual Flying Stars, that's how they fall. And they all fall in their initial palace. So I'm going to go through each number and explain what it means. So if we start with the number 1 in the north, it falls in the north in this year. So number 1 is a victory star, is about status, support, helpful people. So for example, if you have a child who's in competition in sports and wants to win the competition, this star is very powerful. Spending time in this sector in the north will bring a victorious energy. You can test it. And as I mentioned earlier, with flying stars, you get results quite quickly because it's short term. Number 2, the number 2 this year is in the southwest. So number 2, although in the modern world has some negative connotation, 2 is really about partnership and relationships. So it's not always a negative. Also, it's, as I said, it's considered an illness star. But you know, if you are in the business of being a doctor or healing or in the medical practice, number 2 can have some positive connotations. So you have to see how it combines with what other stars in that palace. Number 3 is in the east sector, and it represents the wood element. Is about family and community. So also it has sometimes negative connotations, but really it's about grounding, rooting the energy like the trees. So it is important that you know you can enhance it with the wood elements such as plants and pictures of your family. The number 4 in the southeast, although again it can have a negative connotation because in some Chinese dialect, I believe it's Cantonese, the enunciation means death. Number 4 is all about the 4 seasons. And it's a harmonious number. I mean, in some countries and in some places like in Las Vegas, there is no number 4th floor, just because, as I said, it resonates with death in certain Chinese dialect. But it's really a harmonious number. It's also peach blossom number. So again, it depends how you pair it with what other numbers, what other stars reside in this palace. Number 5. Which is considered a negative star, is associated actually with the 5 elements, which is the water, the wood, the fire, the metal, and the earth. And it's really about what a prospect in life. Are we adventurous? Do we accept changes? We can see it from a different perspective, more subconscious or through consciousness, because number 5, take it as we hear about, is really is a negative star. It's not a place we want to spend too much time, but again, it depends what else is in that palace. 6 is definitely considered an auspicious number. It is associated with career advances and authority, and definitely is a good sector to spend time there for prosperity. Then we go to number 7, which is in the west sector, and 7 is actually a creative number, although again it has negative connotations, and it's about how you bring your voice to the public. So it's really about you being brave and courageous and coming out to the world. So you choose where you want to be. And finally, not finally yet, actually, number 8, which, as everyone knows, it's a prosperity star. It's supposed to be the star, especially now that we're in period 8. And it's all about wealth and prosperity and abundance. Finally, the number 9 star is a fire element star, and it's about fame and awards and dreams. So if you want extra in your life, this is where you have to spend time. But that said, I want to make a point that a number by itself doesn't mean much. We have to compare it with other stars, other energies in your sector. So I took the example of a case, a family that I know that I did the Feng Shui for last year, started. And I'm going to talk a little bit about them because I think it's an interesting case. So the male breadwinner belongs to the Gua 1. For those who don't know what a Gua is, it's based on your date of birth, and it's the energy you're born with. And that energy gives you a number that is connected to a house direction. So Gua 1 belongs to the group of houses in the east, okay? And the east group of houses is good in the south, in the southeast, in the east, and in the north. Now, the lady, the female, belongs to Gua 7, which actually is the opposite group of houses. She belongs to the west group of houses, which is good for the locations of the southwest, the northwest, the northeast, and the west. Now, although this house faces southeast and sits northwest, it means that it's a west group house, so it's more supportive for the female. But the main entrance is in the south, which is more supportive for the male. And the numbers in the south are definitely auspicious, okay? I took the years of last year, 2021 and 2022. So 3 and 1, as I explained earlier on, if you combine them, it's a pretty winning combination, I would say. And the master bedroom is in the southeast and east. So really, kudos to the man, but for the lady of the family, it's not so great. So she comes in through the main entrance door, which is the mouth of the chi, which is, okay, not the best, but then maybe she can compensate with where she sleeps, for example, or spending time in the kitchen or in the office. She works full-time. But no, the southeast and the east is supportive again for the man. And those numbers in the two palaces are not great for her. They're definitely, as you can see, last year was more challenging than this year because you have 2 5s in the southeast sector. So he's doing great, work-wise and life-wise, and she's not, without applying remedies actually, because when they hired me for that, but they were curious about the energy of the house, but then they didn't want to go with the remedies. Now I'm in touch again with the husband, and he started to apply the remedies. So this is an ongoing investigation. I guess we can write books about our cases. So I will know very soon, but I'm quite sure what is going to happen already. And I mentioned here the child's bedroom because last year also the boy had a challenging year. You can see that the number 2 and 7 falls in his bedroom, and this year it's 1 and 6. The stars are much more positive, and this year he's doing much better at school and socially with his friends. So I just want to show you that even without using the remedies, just by changing the year, the flying stars rotating and the energy falling, different energies falling in the room, but different year, you have different experiences, positive or stalling. And this is the case with this family. And now, of course, we talked about numbers by themselves not meaning much, and combination of numbers having a meaning and the energy that they bring in, but as well, we need to activate, because without activations, nothing happens. Of course, it is naturally activated because the main door gets activated with opening and closing, so the south is always activated. The bedroom is activated because you go through the main door through the southeast, they open the windows, it's the facing side. The kid is studying in his bedroom on the computer, so there is sound playing. and talking at the door, and there is all kind of activities playing in that room. So these rooms are definitely activated. This is different ways of activating a palace. So through obviously doing activities, but also through the yang energy, bright lights, whether they're natural or placing a candle or leaving the lights on, through sound, music, having parties, TV, and then elements and symbols, which in this case I didn't use because they were not ready for it. And it will be for another time, but I just wanted to show that things can be done even without doing much remedy, and that really the power of mind is even more important because when we know where the good energies are, then we can place our intent there, and things happen. Things happen. The house speaks to us, and we start establishing a relationship with it. So it's good to have the knowledge of where the stars fall, and to know what is good for us, where is good for us to spend time. For example, the lady should move, and I recommended, we'll see, to move in the west sector, because she belongs to the West group, and the numbers are fantastic. Right now it's an office there, but let's see. Hopefully she moves there, and I'm sure it will change for her. These are the kind of changes that we can make to improve the quality of our life, because at the end of the day, it's all about quality of life, and the flying star is a living system for that we can use for us. Now, of course, with the numbers and positive energies that I've been focusing on, every year there are afflictions. And this year, being the year of the tiger, we have three main afflictions that concern the northeast, because that's where the tiger resides. And the advice there is not to face in the direction of the Tai Sui or the Grand Duke, or Jupiter in Western translation, in order not to offend the Grand Duke. The other affliction is the opposite location of the Grand Duke, which is in the southwest. And it's a year breaker, and we don't want to also disturb that area by doing any construction there, so trying just to keep it quiet. The other area of affliction is the north, all of the north. It's the three killings or the Sansha, and as opposed to Tai Sui, where we're not supposed to face in the direction of the tiger, here we can face north, but we certainly don't want to have our back facing north. So we should just face north and not the south. That's what it is. And again, in the three cases, in the three locations, we don't want to do any construction work. Try to leave it peaceful, calm, not too much activity or noise. These are for the afflictions of 2022. Yes, what to do to control the three afflictions, as I just mentioned. And here I come to my summary of how important it is to have our intentions for each year, and where do you want to put your intentions? Is it in your personal life, in your health? Is it in your career? We have to choose. We cannot have it all at the same time. So we can go throughout the year, prioritize one thing at a time and spend time where it is the most auspicious for each one of us. And that is for the presentation. Again, I want to say that it's really about quality of life, and using those annual numbers that can really change. Even when you don't think that it's working, you should, trying that is quite a life experience changing. So, thank you. Any questions?